To understand why the United States and Iran have been enemies for over 70 years, you have to go back to a single decision made in 1951, a decision about oil. For decades, Iran's oil had been controlled almost entirely by a British company, the Anglo-Iranian Oil Company, which would later become BP. Iran received a small fraction of the profits. Britain took the rest. In April 1951, a new prime minister came to power in Tehran, Mohammad Mossadegh, a democratically elected nationalist who believed Iran's oil belonged to Iran. Within weeks, his government nationalized the entire industry. Britain lost control of one of its most valuable assets overnight, and Britain was not going to let that stand. London tried economic pressure first, a global boycott of Iranian oil that devastated the country's economy. It wasn't enough. Mossadegh held firm, so Britain turned to a more direct solution, removing him from power entirely. But British intelligence didn't have the reach to pull it off alone. They needed Washington. To convince the Americans, British officials framed Mossadegh not as an oil nationalist, but as a communist sympathizer. A dangerous idea in 1953, at the height of the Cold War. It worked. President Eisenhower approved a joint operation between the CIA and Britain's MI6, with a $1 million budget and a codename, Operation Ajax. It would become the CIA's first attempt in its history to overthrow a foreign government. The plan was simple on paper. The Shah of Iran would formally dismiss Mossadegh, and a general loyal to the West would take his place. CIA operative Kermit Roosevelt, grandson of President Theodore Roosevelt, arrived in Tehran to run the operation on the ground. But Mossadegh found out about the plot before it could be carried out. The Shah panicked. Instead of dismissing his prime minister, he fled the country entirely, first to Iraq, then to Rome. Within Washington and London, the operation was considered a failure. Officials began drafting orders to shut it down completely and abandon the missions. The formal order to cancel Operation Ajax was sent, but Kermit Roosevelt, still in Tehran, made a decision that wasn't his to make. He ignored it. Using CIA funds, his team paid street gangs, hired mobsters, and organized crowds to flood the streets of Tehran in support of the Shah. On August 19, 1953, those crowds converged on the capital. What followed was a day of chaotic street violence. Tanks rolled toward Mossadegh's residence. By nightfall, between 200 and 300 people were dead. Mossadegh's government had collapsed. An operation that had already been declared a failure succeeded anyway, because one man on the ground refused to follow the order to stop. Mossadegh was arrested, tried and convicted of treason. He spent the rest of his life first in prison, then under house arrest, until his death. The Shah returned to Iran and ruled for the next 26 years with increasingly authoritarian power, backed openly by the United States. For decades, Washington denied any role in what had happened. The CIA did not officially acknowledge Operation Ajax until 2013, 60 years after the coup, when declassified documents confirmed everything historians had long suspected. The United States had engineered the overthrow of a democratically elected government. In Iran, the memory of 1953 never faded. The Shah's regime grew increasingly repressive, propped up by a Western-backed government many Iranians saw as illegitimate from the start. In 1979, that resentment erupted into revolution. The Shah was overthrown. Months later, revolutionary students stormed the American embassy in Tehran and held American hostages for 444 days, an event that shattered U.S.-Iran relations for good. Every confrontation since, the sanctions, the proxy conflicts, the decades of hostility, traces back to a single covert operation in 1953 over the control of oil. The war between the United States and Iran didn't start with a battle. It started with a coup nobody was supposed to find out about.